Hello everyone. This is the third video in the series of videos where I'll be solving select problems from RTP relevant for November 2020 exam for the subject of strategic financial management. Please do watch the video till the end because I'll not only be solving problem but I'll also be explaining certain key concepts associated with that particular problem or topic. Please do share this video as much as possible so that everyone can benefit from it. And before we begin, I would like to mention that in this channel of mine, my videos are not restricted only to CA curriculum or CA syllabus. I also post videos on various financial issues and aspects which could be of interest not only to CA students but also to finance professionals. So please do subscribe to my channel and do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a video. So without any further delay, let's begin. Okay, let us first go through the problem. There are two mutual funds, namely D mutual fund and K mutual fund, each having closed-ended equity schemes. NAV as on 31/12/19 of equity schemes of D mutual fund is 70.71, consisting of equity 99% and remaining cash balance. That means D mutual fund NAV is 70.71, which is split into two components, that is equity and cash. And equity they are saying is 99%, therefore cash is 1%. Okay, and that of K mutual fund is 62.5, consisting 96% equity and the balance in cash. So K mutual fund has got an NAV of 62.5, which is split into equity 96% and cash 4%. Following other information is given for D mutual fund and K mutual fund. Sharp ratio for D mutual fund is 2 and for K mutual fund is 3.3. Trainers ratio is 15 for both of these funds and standard deviation is 11.25 for D mutual fund and for K mutual fund it is 5. There is no change in portfolio during the next month and the annual average cost. Now the keyword is annual average cost. So this is an annual cost. Annual average cost is rupees 3 per unit for the scheme of both the funds. If the share market goes down by 5% within a month, calculate expected NAV after a month for the schemes of both the mutual funds. For calculation, consider 12 months in a year and ignore the number of days for a particular month. Now let us solve the problem first for D mutual fund. Now before solving the problem, let us understand what exactly are we required to find out. See, they have given the breakup of NAV of D mutual fund, that is equity is 99% and cash is 1%. And what is it that they have asked us to find out? They have asked us to find out that if the share market goes down by 5% within a month, calculate the expected NAV after a month for the schemes of both the mutual funds. Now see, if you are going to calculate the mutual funds NAV after a month, then what you need to know is that from today, how much has the equity value changed and how much has the cash balance changed. The moment you know that the equity has changed by X amount and cash has changed by X amount, then immediately you will know the value of equity at the end of 1 month and you will know the value of cash at the end of 1 month. As soon as you know the value of equity and cash at the end of 1 month, you obviously are in a position to calculate the NAV of the fund. Now to know how much equity has changed by, see, this information is critical. What they are saying is the share market goes down by 5%. Now what we are supposed to find out is if the share market goes down by 5%, then we are supposed to calculate what will be the percentage change in the equity held by the fund. I mean, I'm just repeating this. If the share market goes down by 5%, then what will be the change in the value of equity held by the fund? Now, obviously this relationship is given by beta. That means the moment we calculate beta of this fund, we will be able to calculate that if the market goes down by 5%, then how much will the equity value change? So our main objective first when solving the problem is to find out the beta. Now, how can we calculate beta from the information that they have given us? Let us see. NAV of the fund of D mutual fund is rupees 70.71, of which they are saying equity is 99%, which will be 99% of 70.71 will be rupees 70, and cash 1%, that is rupees 0.71. Now this is the breakup of the 70.71. The further information they have given is, they have said Sharpe ratio is 2, trainer's ratio is 15, and standard deviation is 11.25. Right, now this is the information that we have. Now how do we calculate Sharpe ratio? Sharpe ratio is equals to return of mutual fund minus risk-free whole thing upon standard deviation. Now in this case, they have given Sharpe ratio is 2 is equals to return of mutual fund minus risk-free whole thing upon standard deviation is given as 11.25. Now if we solve this for return of mutual fund minus risk-free, therefore return of mutual fund minus risk-free will be 11.25 into 2. So that will be 22.5. They have given us trainer's ratio. Now how do we use this? See, trainer's ratio is calculated as return of mutual fund minus risk-free whole thing upon beta. Now trainers they have given as 15. Now we already know that return of mutual fund minus risk-free is 22.5. So this will be 22.5 whole thing upon beta. So now if we solve this for beta, beta will be equal to 22.5 divided by 15. That is equal to 1.5. See students, now we have calculated beta and we know that the market has dropped by 5%. And since beta is positive, that means the portfolio also would have moved in the same direction. So now we calculate that for a 5% move, how much would the portfolio have moved by? If market goes down by 1%, portfolio will go down by 1.5%. Therefore, if market goes down by 5%, then how much will the portfolio go down by? This will be a simple case of cross multiplication, which means if the market has gone down by 5%, the portfolio would have dropped down by 7.5%. Now, since we know how much the portfolio would have dropped by, we can very well calculate what will be the value of equity component at the end of 1 month. So let us now calculate this. NAV at the end of 1 month will comprise of two things, equity and cash. Now see, we know that the opening value of equity in D mutual fund was rupees 70. But then since the market has fallen down by 5%, this would have fallen down by 7.5%. So the equity component will be 70 minus 7.5%. This will give us 64.75. Now cash, the opening balance of cash in D mutual fund was 0.71. And we know that per annum expense is rupees 3, right? So we can very well calculate the per month expense. So the cash balance would be opening balance 0.71 less expenses, which will be rupees 3 divided by 12. That gives us 0.25, which means the closing cash balance would be 0.46. Now the sum total of both of this will give us the NAV at the end of the month. Now if we add both of this, we'll get 65.21. So this is the closing NAV of the month, that is NAV at the end of 1 month for D mutual fund. Now we have to do the similar calculation for K mutual fund. So now for K mutual fund, we can work it out a little faster. The NAV is given as rupees 62.5, of which equity is 96%. So 96% of 62.5 will give us rupees 60. Therefore cash will be the balance rupees 2.50, which is 4%. Right? So we have the breakup of equity and cash. Now they have given Sharpe ratio for K mutual fund as 3.3, trainer's ratio 15, standard deviation 5. We know that Sharpe ratio is return of mutual fund minus risk free whole thing upon standard deviation. Now they're given Sharpe as 3.3, return of mutual fund minus risk free we don't know. Standard deviation is given as 5. Therefore, return of mutual fund minus risk free will be 5 into 3.3, that is 16.5. Now trainer's ratio is given as return of mutual fund minus risk free whole thing upon beta. And trainers they have given as 15. We know the return of mutual fund minus risk free is 16.5, which we found out here. Whole thing upon beta. Therefore, beta is equals to 16.5 upon 15, which gives us 1.1. So now we know the beta of the fund. If market goes down by 1%, stock will go down by 1.1%. That is what beta tells you. Now in the question they have given that the market goes down by 5%. How much will the stock go down by? It's a simple case of cross multiplication. That will be 5 into 1.1 divided by 1. That is 5.5%, which means because the market has gone down by 5%, the value of the portfolio will go down by 5.5%. Now, once we have this information, we can very well calculate the NAV at the end of 1 month, NAV of K mutual fund at the end of 1 month. It will comprise of two things, equity. Now, the opening value of equity which we had found out was rupees 60 and cash was 2.5. So now after 1 month, equity will be rupees 60 minus 5.5%, which will be equal to 56.7, and cash, the opening balance was rupees 2.5 less expenses, that will be rupees 3 divided by 12, that is rupees 0.25. So the closing cash balance will be rupees 2.25. Therefore, the sum total of this will be the NAV at the end of 1 month. So NAV after 1 month, 58.95. So that is the solution for this problem. Now this problem is a good revision problem because in this one problem, there are a lot of concepts relating to mutual fund which you can revise. You can revise how to calculate the NAV, you can revise how Sharpe ratio and Trainer's ratio are being calculated and so on. So this is a nice problem to practice before the exam. Well students, I hope you would have found this video useful and it would have helped you in understand a few critical concepts and also helped you in understanding the manner in which the problem is to be solved. That's all for today's session. Keep watching this channel for more. Stay healthy and ciao.